Hey guys, Objector here. In today's video I wanted to take a look at the future of gaming and specifically the future of online shooters. The gameplay you're seeing in the background is me playing some Battlefield 4 from this weekend. It's not the best gameplay, but it was a lot of fun. And as I was playing with weapons like the AN-94 and the Phantom Bow that BF4 has introduced for free to all players, it really made me think about how much Battlefield 4 has changed what is expected out of games like Halo and Rainbow Six Siege. Battlefield 4 was released back in October of 2013 with a ton of bugs and issues right off the bat to a point where it's called Broken Field 4. But here it is in 2016 and BF4 is still strong with a lot of active players and is still competing with a lot of the new first-person shooters on the block. And a big reason for this is because it's almost 3 years out and DICE is still supporting their game with new weapons, new balance patches, and new maps that the community helps create, all for free to everyone. This idea of treating the game like an ongoing service to players that requires support has changed what players have come to expect from first-person shooters. Part of the reason Battlefield 4 probably started doing this is to help make up for the horrible launch it had, but they have done a real great job of turning the game around and it's affected the entire genre. If you look at games that are successful, big-name titles, they have adopted the same model for their games. Halo 5 has done it in the form of monthly updates that introduce new maps, new armor pieces, and new game modes, which are free to all players without the need of having to buy a season pass. And Rainbow Six Siege is doing a similar thing by giving the new maps to all players for free and allowing players to earn the new operators through in-game currency, in addition to having the option of buying them either on their own or through the season pass. Now I think the biggest part of these games is allowing the new maps to be free for all players instead of through DLCs. This is something that I remember starting back with Halo Reach, where Bungie would take maps created by players in the Forge and put them in the regular playlist for everyone to use. But if you go back a few years to Call of Duty and Halo 3, this wasn't the case. New maps were part of DLCs, and what it did was separate the player base into the players that either had the DLC and new maps and the players that didn't. So if you wanted to play with your friends online and they had that new DLC, they weren't able to be in those maps if they played with you, or you had to pay for them and buy the DLC to play the new maps along with them. I think down the road, this kind of free support for a game not through DLCs is going to define if a game has long-term success or not. We've seen the failure of Destiny following the model of releasing new DLCs at prices a lot of players complained about, especially after the lack of content they got for the base game at $60. Destiny was able to succeed for the first year mostly because it had no real competition outside of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now that we have new AAA titles like Halo 5 and Rainbow Six Siege and Fallout, Destiny has kind of fallen into obscurity because they aren't showing any kind of real support for their game, and they've effectively split their player base by having new DLC with higher levels and new raids and new strikes, and if you didn't get the DLC, you were kind of out of luck and had no one who really wanted to play with you anymore. Anyway guys, that's just kind of my thoughts of what games need to be doing in the future if they want their games to survive the long term. Call of Duty can get away with it without the support because they come out with a new game every year, but with games that have a few years between releases like Halo and Battlefield and those kind of games, they need to show this kind of support, and I think it pays off both for the franchises and especially the players when companies show this kind of support 2 and 3 years after the release. And I'm interested to see what future games like The Division decide to do. But these are just my thoughts on the subject. What do you guys think will become the norm in the future games? Do you think this trend will continue, or do you think we'll maybe see a price jump in the base games maybe up to $70 or $80 because of this continued free support? Let me know down in the comments below. If you haven't seen my previous video on the new operators coming out in Rainbow Six Siege, click the link on the screen now. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming news. Until next time, this is Objector, signing off.